Hey friends, welcome to the Access to Success podcast featuring Project Shine. I'm your host, Saeed Al-Basha, and joining me on this journey is the one and only Mike Diamond. This is episode 4 of the series, and today we're going to dive into daily rituals. Now, you might not be aware yet, but you already have a daily ritual. We all do. It's just some of it is unintentional. A lot of times we do the things that we have to do in the morning, but not always the things that will set us up for a successful day. But what is that exactly? What will set us up to win the day? That's the burning question, and we do answer that in today's episode. We'll go into detail about the best daily rituals we've observed, and some of them that we've actually adopted, how to develop your own daily ritual, because I think not everybody can have the same formula. Everybody's a little bit different, so we're going to go into how to develop your own and how to manage stress. This one's huge, guys. If you don't have stress, you're one of the very, 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 very few people that are lucky enough to go without it. But the majority of us, we have stress. We want to know how to manage it. We'll answer that question. And we'll go into how to kill the excuses that are keeping you from your full potential. You guys are going to love today's show. And you know what else you're going to love? Your brand new Toyota from North Hollywood Toyota. Listen, go visit Shams and AJ for a test drive. They have new models. They have used models. Just tell them Mike Diamond or the Access to Success podcast sent you, and you know they're going to hook you up, or else Mike Diamond is going to go put them in a headlock or something. North Hollywood Toyota, located off the Lancashire exit off the 134 freeway. Go check them out. You're going to love them. And now, let's set you up with a winning daily ritual, shall we? Hey, man. We are back with another edition of Project Shine. Episode 4.
Yes. 4 episodes.
Yeah. Well, today we're going to be talking about daily rituals. Mm-hmm. We've talked about quite a few things that have to do with mindset, and let's keep it going. So, daily rituals. You've taken on a daily ritual that you wake up 3:30 to 4 o'clock every morning, but you did it out of necessity. Based on the demands that you have in your daily, you have no choice but to do this.
Yeah. So there's a really good book called Power of When.
Power of When?
When, yeah. When. It talks about the circadian rhythms, because we all have different rhythms. And everyone has different daily rituals. So I think, like, when someone says to me, you know, some people get up at 7. Some people get up at 3. Some people get up at 5. There's no way you can own your day if you're getting up at 8:39, you know what I mean? Unless you have some kind of... Actually, that's not true, because if you work really late...
Yeah, if you work at a bar, closes at 2.
If you're like a guy that finds his creativity late at night, then you will get up later. But you're going to have to find your sweet spot. So your daily ritual has to be aligned with what you want and your goals. Otherwise, you're pulled everywhere and you have no rituals. Okay?
Yeah.
So when I became a father, the most important thing people told me is my wife needs to sleep. I had to become flexible with my job. I was doing a lot of interventions and a lot of coaching. I was traveling. I had to kill that. I had to figure out how to minimize my coaching into more the California area. Secondly, I had to put out the book, make the book successful by speaking, right? So I had to figure that out. And then I wanted to acquire a certain amount of knowledge. So how am I going to do that? And I didn't want to turn into this unfit, because I love to exercise. So I go, okay, so if I want to train, I want to read 1 or 2 books a week, okay? I want to coach people. I want to inspire people from my action. I want to be a good husband, show up for my wife, allow my wife time to sleep so she can not go insane, because anyone that has a newborn knows that women take an absolute beating. And if you want to be a good husband, let your wife sleep, especially if she's breastfeeding. That's ridiculous. And then all the hormonal changes, because I read enough books about what a woman goes through, which we don't go through as men. I got to get my shit together if I want to be a successful parent, okay, and be the ultimate dad. So it started off around 5, And then I realized that 5 wasn't early enough. So then I jumped it down to 4:30. And then I realized 4:30 wasn't early enough. So then I'm like, now I got to be between 3:30 and 4. That's my sweet spot. Then I started studying melatonin and melatonin spikes. So I want to, spike my pineal gland, which is connected to the superconscious. So if we look at conscience now, subconscious, programming, superconscious, infinite intelligence, source energy. The Secret talks about source energy. Abraham Hicks, Ask and It Shall Be Given, talks about source energy. Napoleon Hill talked about infinite intelligence. Maximum Achievement from Brian Tracy, he talks about superconscious. Either way, there's an intelligence that runs a universe. Okay?
Yeah.
So if my daily ritual is I want to tap into that intelligence, okay, then intuitively, like they say, ask and it shall be given. Okay. So let's look at the daily ritual. Start your daily ritual by priming yourself, aligned to your purpose and the goals you want to achieve. In the morning, set the tone while you're going before you come into a better brainwave, which is now when you're in delta, alpha brainwaves where you can program through the daily ritual. Then you're going to tap into that source energy. Ask the source energy to guide you. You should be cruising. Okay?
Yeah.
So to me, if you don't have daily rituals aligned with your goals and purpose, then the world takes you. You don't take the world.
It's absolutely crucial to start your day in a manner that's going to help you achieve your goals that you set for the day.
Absolutely.
That is great in philosophy, but what about practicality? What are we talking about in terms of how do we prime ourselves just to get our day started right?
Well, here's the thing. Like, I've got friends. I don't do yoga. I've done yoga. I like to lift weights. I like to run. I like to cycle, right? I have friends that do yoga all day, do 90-minute yoga. But then they sit there all day screaming at the kids. Is that mindfulness or has that become a sport? I'm not saying yoga is not great. It is great. But what my purpose is, you have to do things that allow you to manage your emotions, that allow you to be mindful. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's no point in doing something if it doesn't make you present and teach you how to breathe diaphragmatically, to control your sympathetic nervous system, to make sure you're always in rest and digest, your parasympathetic nervous system, so you're always healing. So your daily rituals, whatever you like to do, you must be setting yourself up to succeed, right, in the practices before you go out. It's like saying, I want to go out and, be a great footballer. All right, what are you doing in training? Well, I don't train. Well, how are you going to be good when it's game time?
Yeah.
So game time is life. Game time is me working, trying to make money. Game time is me driving on the freeway. Game time is me and my personal relationships. Okay, so you want to succeed in these areas, but you do no work and you wonder why your relationships suck, your work sucks, you're behind on your dreams, you're behind on your bills, you're behind in life because you're doing no work in your daily rituals to set yourself up to succeed.
Right. And I think it's probably overcomplicated by some people thinking, well, I need to do a breathing session and a yoga session and lift some weights and go for a 10-mile jog. And it's like, it doesn't have to be that complicated.
At all.
Especially if you don't already have one. And this is where I think if we're talking to somebody who doesn't have a daily ritual, doesn't understand that when you get up on the same side of the bed every morning, thinking the same thoughts, going into the same patterns, hating the setup of your room, hating the setup of your house, hating your location, and you're just constantly looking at all the negatives in your life, how that affects you in the long term.
Kills you.
We talked a little bit in the previous episode about creating your environment, your place. Start with the simple things. Before you go to bed, it takes 10 minutes to just tidy up around the room. When I've done that, I genuinely feel better when I wake up to a clean room.
Absolutely.
Same thing with a clean house. When I tidy up, it just is calming to come to a state of calm. They say a lot of the stress is created because of the chaos that goes on in the house. So if you have chaos in the house, then you have chaos hitting traffic, then you have chaos at work, then you have maybe a break for lunch, but that might be chaos too, because you got to get back and you got to. So if we're dealing with all of this chaos, and then it's chaos when you get home, there has to be some part of your day that you take control of, and start by doing something tiny.
I mean, look, all right, let's look at like basic, any kind of, if you don't have physical fitness, you won't have mental fitness. You just won't.
Right.
Because if you feel, it's a compound effect, right? The ripple effect. Okay, so I start getting lazy and I start procrastinating and I stop going to the gym. Okay. Why do I stop going to the gym? Is because I blame, I have a kid. Okay. So then I say I don't have enough time. So I start gaining weight. Start looking down, looking at the belly. What do I feel when I see the stomach? I feel awful. People start commenting, wow, you look like shit. Now that I look like shit, what do? I start eating like shit. Those foods make me feel like shit. When I feel like shit, what do? I start lashing out on my wife. Okay. My wife's the problem, right? My boss is the problem, right? My car's the problem. Okay. Everyone's the problem. Why? Because I started to neglect my health, right? All going on how I feel. Now, if I turn it around and I say every morning I'm just going to start by going for a walk and spiking my endorphins and dopamine, right? Do a little metabolic training. Could be some jumping jacks, some small work, right? Get myself moving and grooving mindfully. All of a sudden that kickstarts my day because I'm spiking my dopamine and my endorphins. I feel good, okay? It's a natural drug, natural high. That's why I call it a runner's high. You have to run for at least 30 minutes to spike the adenine in your brain. Adenine is spiked when you smoke marijuana. Same thing. That's why you feel like you're high when you run. I can run 10, 12 miles. I feel goddamn amazing. I don't feel like shit. So if you start with those basic rituals and you add in some positive things to your health and you start by eating good foods that are nutrition, that are going to make you feel good, that are going to rejuvenate your cells and your body, then the rest of the day is easy. But if you start the day worrying about the future, taking worst case scenarios from the past, you're going to have a pretty predictable scenario. Instead, let's kill yesterday because it's done, right? Stay present in the moment. Have an elevated emotion experience by feeling good, taking care of ourselves with solid daily rituals, with some exercise, some breathing, good foods. And then envision what I want to create in the future. Then I can walk towards that vision, and anything that's not placed towards those goals and that purpose, I then edit out of the movie.
It's a distraction.
So let's look at life really simply. Okay, set up your daily rituals to what you want to achieve in life to close the gap from where you are and where you want to be. And then edit out anything else in your movie that you don't want. So I don't tell anyone to get up at 3:45. I just look at the guys that are killing it. Give you a perfect example. You got a guy like Mark Wahlberg, incredible producer, incredible entrepreneur, and a solid actor. But what he's done is he has this incredible work ethic to succeed.
Yeah.
Right? He gets up around 2:33 in the morning. Gets it all done before his kids wake up.
Wow.
Okay? Now, I look at a guy like The Rock. He came from the WWE, and now he's, where is he now? Gets up around 3:45, 4 a.m. Do you know what I mean? There's a pattern here. Guys that are owning that part of the day while everyone else is sleeping or going to bed really late, there's a blueprint here. These guys are getting up early. They're getting it done before anyone starts.
Yeah.
You know, there's no way in the world, if I don't get the runs in the morning, if I don't get the miles in the morning, I can't get it in during the day because my body naturally, through my circadian rhythm, is going to start going down because naturally it's getting dark. My body's going to go into rest and digest, and I want to start sleeping and coming down for the day because the melatonin is going to start producing in my brain, which is going to bring me down. So if I follow that circadian rhythm, I shouldn't be jacked up on caffeine right now trying to go in and, now, if you're unfortunately on that cycle and you see it, people that are on those crazy cycles, and I wasn't for years in the nightclub business, it kind of messes with you.
Yeah. Like the staying out till 3, 4 in the morning
Yeah.
and just, drinking these amazing beverages that make you do all kinds of crazy things. But when you're talking about it from an evolutionary standpoint, we rose with the sun and went to bed with the sun set until man discovered fire and we could see at night. We could stay a little bit later. But it really was that's how we've been wired. And if we don't at least adapt some of that, I think we're going against evolution. We're trying to change. We're trying to, reinvent the wheel.
All right. So here's the thing, right? They say that most Americans, we have the highest... but pharmaceuticals, right? Drugs, right? And one of the highest epidemics for stress. Okay, so how do we learn to manage stress? We learn to manage stress by learning to managing our emotions. We learn to manage our emotions by becoming mindful. We become mindful, right? We become self-aware. When we become self-aware, we start to look at the thoughts, the feelings, the actions, or the emotions, and don't act right first. We go, I'm going to sit on that. If you really break it down, I'll give you a perfect example. I got hit with a lawsuit, okay? I get served. Naturally, when you get served, whether you did it or not, you're going to go worst case scenario. They're going to take my houses, they're going to take my kid, whatever it is. Okay. I didn't sign the documents. I'm going to have to get a lawyer. Okay, get some advice from a lawyer. My gut feeling said I could probably do it myself. I went online, figured it out with an ex-business partner, and that night couldn't log in to the court call. I'm like, I'm just going to sleep. I can't do anything about it. Most people are going to sit up all night, not get the sleep, freak out. Didn't worry about it. Just logged in, turned it over to the universe, woke up the next day. For some reason it went through, called the court turned around and said, this never happens. So the universe is way more powerful than some lady working at the court. What happens? I pray, meditate, said I need at least 6 to 8 months to deal with this stuff. Judge turns around on the court call. Lawyer on the opposition side says I need at least 6 months. We get 8 months to deal with it.
Wow.
Now that could have been completely the opposite if I was just living in stress. So if you want to manage your stress, first of all, we need to cut out a few things. First of all, we have to stop worrying what other people are doing. What they're driving, what they're doing, it doesn't matter. Ask yourself why you're doing it. I lived in stress hormones all my life. I took on way too much and it was never enough. You can never feel the whole. The sex, the drugs, the money will never fill the hole. You have to fill the hole from inside. Okay? That comes by doing some self-help work, talking to people, whether you have to go to therapy, figure out what's broken inside and where you didn't get the love. You know what I mean? Because everyone comes from some kind of dysfunctional family.
Yeah.
Right?
That's
so figure out where you need to build your self-esteem, okay? And then set up your rituals that work for you. Don't worry about anyone else's rituals. You know what I mean?
I'm glad you say that because there is the whole comparison thing, and we've talked about it a little bit, not in great length, but the comparison thing, Jocko Willink. I follow him. He's
great.
A 4:30 guy. 4:30 works for him. 3:30 works for you. 5:20 works for me. And it's going to be different for everyone. Point is not to be concerned with what everybody else is doing. You can use it as motivation, but don't take it as a failure if you can't keep up with them. Also, you will be criticized. We're talking about daily rituals, whether you're doing some breathing pattern exercises, whether you're doing your yoga, whether you're doing meditation, people will criticize. If you are used to eating cheeseburgers on a daily basis and all of a sudden you come back to the office with a salad, somebody's going to go look at you and they're going to go, "Oh, Mr. Salad over there, Mr. Trying to be healthy." It's an amazing thing that we as humans do to each other, is trying to tear each other down.
You know, I always look at this. If I'm worrying about my stuff, I have no time to worry about yours. So if someone's worrying about my stuff, all right, if you had $1 billion apartment and I gave it to you, what kind of tenant would you want?
Oh, somebody that's pristine, clean, organized.
Okay, so why would you let jerk-offs rent space in your head?
That's a great question. Yeah.
Right?
Why?
So
why do
I only want to carry the shit in my head that's positive, uplifting, motivating. If I see someone get up at 3:30, I'm like, dude, that guy's a badass. That inspires me. But I don't tell anyone to get up that early. I just don't want to push my baby in a stroller some days and have to put him on the carrier and do pull-ups with him. That's just, but I want to be a fit motherfucker.
Yeah.
I want to break a world record. I want to raise money for Layla. I want to be a successful coach. I want to be of service to my wife. And if I want to kick ass, that means I got to get up at that hour to make the money I want to make. So then when I want to travel places, I sacrifice the sleep so we can have nice shit. But no one's given it to me. No one gave me shit when I came here. So I want to fucking outwork people. Because what I don't have in book skills, I'll outwork you with what the knowledge I can gain by reading and then applying that knowledge. I'm going to do it. I'm going to fucking outwork you. I don't give a shit how many times I shit my pants. I will outwork you. I don't care. Anyone that grew up with me knows me. I'm the honey badger against the cobra. I'll take you out. You know, I don't care. I'm just going forward. I get up every day and challenge myself to be better. I set such a high bar on myself. Now, I don't expect other people to do it, but I'm not going to tell someone, right?
Sure.
But if someone wants to come to me to be motivated and coached, I'm not going to just sit there and say, do this. I'm going to, what do you do? Come out, work out with me. And I'll do 300 pull-ups in, an hour with a weight vest on. They're like, holy shit. I'm like, well, you want to train with me? I want to show you how I do it. Or I'll go and run 12 miles and do a 60-mile bike ride on a Sunday. And they're like, Jesus Christ. I'm like, I'm telling you, this is what, I'm showing you how it's done. Now, that doesn't mean you have to do it. I'm not telling you to do it.
Right.
But don't make excuses.
That's a great point. Don't make excuses, but again, don't compare yourself to your 12-mile and 60-mile bike ride. Start with a half mile.
And another thing, I'm not telling you to do this. But if you come to me and ask me my blueprint, that's the blueprint.
You're going to tell it like it is.
So
speaking of doing crazy things, I do want to touch on this because it's something that I think, that I know is near and dear to your heart, is your run for Layla. Mm-hmm. You've been training. You've been doing vigorous exercise, running, basically taking your body to the limit in order to accomplish this one goal for this one girl who has stolen a piece of your heart. Yep. So tell me a little bit about the Run for Layla goal and what you're trying to accomplish.
What we're going to do is we're going to set up marathons. It's going to be the most half marathons done in a month. Currently, the most half marathons done in a month is 18. You can only run one half marathon in a 24-hour period. It's a 30-day period. So I'm going to do 30 in 30 days. Therefore, no one can break the record. So it works out to be, I think, 394 miles. So I've got to run 91 miles a week.
Wow.
So it's equivalent to running 15 full marathons in 30 days.
Wow.
Now, this is why I'm doing it. Raising money for Layla, raising awareness for Layla. People run for breast cancer. I'm running for Layla. People can join me on the runs. Secondly, I want to show people that a guy in his 40s that's genetically a sprinter, I have a double sprint gene that was proven through 23andMe. I was a sprinter as a kid, never ran distance. I only started running some half marathons and marathons when my appendix burst. I healed myself through running. So I don't give a shit where you're at right now. If a guy in his 40s like me with ulcerative colitis can run 30 half marathons in 30 fucking days and help save a little girl, you can get off your ass and walk around the block. End of story.
Yeah.
I do not want to hear your excuses. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, kill the excuses, get up and get it done. Because if you can get around the block one day, you can get around day 2. You can get around day 3. You can get around day 4. All of a sudden, what happens? You drop the pounds. Put down the donut, replace it with an apple. It's small steps. It's the compound effect, the ripple effect. So it for me in my coaching, the rubber hits the road. I'm a science project. I want to push it to the limit to show people, if you come to me as a coach or you come to me and you want to get sober, I'm going to fucking show you. But I ain't going to mess around. Don't come to me because this well is full to give out. I'm not a dry well.
Yeah.
But if you dig in and you want, I'm going to give it. But you have to be ready to receive it. You know what I mean? It's a tsunami. You know, I am not going to waste. I should be dead. I should have been dead with all the drugs and the alcohol. One of my close friends, Scott Weiland, is dead. I got off that train. He died. I got sober. Okay? I should have been dead 2 years ago when my appendix burst. I should be dead. I should not be here now. So if that means I have been given 2-second chances, I am not wasting a fucking moment jerking off. You know?
For sure.
So find what works for you. Set up daily rituals that make you happy to succeed and kill your excuses because life is short, and get it done and stop talking about it.
I can't think of a better way to end this. Mike Diamond.
Legend.
Man. Yes, sir.
All right.
Hey now, you guys ready to set up your daily ritual? Every morning, probably a good idea to start with some sort of breathing exercise, some sort of meditation, some sort of something to get you in the right mindset to dominate your day. Look, if you're incorporating something, let us know about it. And if you want to, share the show with your friends and tag us so we know that you're listening, and we'll make sure we give you a shout out when you do. Until next time, I love you all, and I'll see you on the next episode.